On day release, demon sub tries not to crease, and Ewok's keeping nice and warm in bed with Russian uniform. Meanwhile, the handyman is opening another can. Technical difficulties, they're really such a crime. Technical difficulties, they happen all the time. It's Yellow Belly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time! It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time! Sometimes they're salty about the gaming biz, and nobody knows who Upworlder is. Technical difficulties, they're really such a crime. Technical difficulties, they happen all the time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time!
Live stream. I'm just gonna tighten my straps.
Oh yeah, tightening your straps.
Yes, I am.
Are you pulling them on?
Right, hang on a minute. So, have we got audio? We've got audio, I think. Shout if it's all not working. I am getting an echo off David, but I think...
I know where it's from. I've sorted it.
Have you?
Yeah, should have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from. I'm still getting an echo, but that's fine. Oh, hang on. I know where it'll be from. Because I am monitoring you. Technical difficulties.
Because you did the test the other day, didn't you?
There we go. Now I can only hear you once. Can you talk for me to make sure the internet can hear you?
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing,
right.
1, 2, 3.
Now the internet can hear you and I can only hear you once, which is the way we want. Right. Okay. Well, good evening, everybody.
My dulcet tones on the regular. Like
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another live stream. Glad to see the regulars in. What's it? Oh my God! Look, it's scrolled off the screen again. Let's quickly go across here. Now then, I should have. God, I hope I fixed David dropping out. I'll come to that in a second. Good evening to Cheese Me. Good evening to Upworlder Darren, also known as Demon Sub. Good evening to, because of Ben Crispin, good evening, mate. He's made it on time. Normally you're a bit later. Spam and Egg, that's David's other half. If you're new, hence the ring references, that all might sort of make more sense now. And good evening to you, all of you. Hopefully if anybody has been watching in the last few weeks and you've had similar issues or have problems with OBS, I discovered that one of the things you need to do is turn off hardware modulation or hardware emulation in the audio settings. And I think what happens is if you're using hardware emulation in OBS and then you've got like other pieces of software on your computer using the same thing, it can't share the resource, which is why David's audio was like crackling and then dropping out. So hopefully, hello Toros. Yeah, I don't look. They're just settings, cheese me. I grew up with.
It's just a list of numbers.
I grew up with 386s in the fucking 80s. None of this modern shit makes any difference. Multi-core processing, all this bollocks. It's all nonsense to me. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully. Now, do you know what? Oddly enough, it's going to be utterly fucking irrelevant though, because we have no news. There is literally zero worthy of comment that I've seen on YouTube this week. I'd forgotten Poke. Fucking hell. That's, yeah. Do you know what? That was I was during primary school, I attended an evening class to learn to program Z80. That's going back a bit cheesy. Fucking hell. That's brilliant. Reminds me of OBS audio cassette and load in. Audio cassettes, yeah. Freaking press. Oh my god, all of the nostalgia, for all the computer nostalgia is coming out now. This is brilliant. Right, okay.
Before my time.
Yeah, well, everything's before your time. Jesus Christ, you're fucking... fucking barely out of nappies over in the corner. Oh dear. Right, shall we get on with the show? So, good evening, welcome to the show if you're new here. This is, don't expect anything structured, sensible, yeah, fuck that.
Relevant.
Yeah. Yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to follow our normal format. So David and I will first of all tell you what we're going to be hobbying on over the next couple of hours, because this is a hobby live stream after all. So let's get the work done. Then we'll have a brief chat about what we got up to at Gaming Club on Monday night. Then I don't know what we're going to do for now, because as I said, literally fuck all in terms of news to talk about. So I'm afraid that might degenerate rapidly into talking a whole lot of nothing but bollocks, and interacting with the chat in a way that may be construed as totally fucking juvenile. People in the
just
chat
saying, if you've been here before, buckle up, buttercup.
To be fair, okay, do you know what? You've said it. Toros says maybe people in the chat have news. So what we're going to do is that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to compile the news dynamically from chat. So Victrix Germans should be arriving soon. I'll see if I can find something about that. I tell you what, while I'm doing that, David, let's see if I can kill your audio and ruin everybody's internet experience.
Let's do it, boys and girls.
By you can try and tell everybody what you're going to be working on if I put your desktop up, and then they can listen to you in silence, mumbling.
Go on then, boys and girls.
Okay.
Let's have some time with David. So, those of you that are aware, I have been working on some dwarves. There's still a little bit of work to go on these, but I'm getting a little bit sick and tired of painting the bastards. So, we're going to have a palette cleanse today, and we're going to be building some Warlord plastic. So we've got a Panzer IV, SDK, I can't remember the number. SDK 251D, so I need to put the ramps and the guns on, boys and girls. And then we have squads to build. So these are the new German sprues. These are the new German sprues. Really nice models. Characterful.
Good God. Don't tell me everybody's been able to hear every word David said.
Nice MG34, not MG42. It's the only oversight of this box. There's no MG42s.
What's this? This is your Rattenberg.
Yeah, my Rattenkrieg.
Rattenkrieg. Bloody hell! I think I fixed it.
Loader. The loader's pretty badass with his ammo crate.
Out of focus. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, looking good.
And then
I do like the uniforms on some of them, mate.
Anti-tank.
Oh wow! Fucking hell, yeah, that means business. Are they like a winter dress?
No, these are normal summer uniform.
Okay.
There.
Cool.
So yeah, some really nice models.
I like that. I like that cap.
Yeah, I've got some dwarves still to do, but for now I'm parking them because I've had over a month of it, and I'm a little bit sick and tired of it. So we're just going to park them for a bit. Move on to some other stuff that needs doing.
So, does anybody know where that Rattenkrieg bolt action start? What period of the war is that for the Germans, or what theatre is that? Is it Eastern Front?
It's
Europe?
Eastern Front, Europe, and it's early, mid, and late. It's all of the flavors.
Okay, so Stalingrad campaign. Cheese me saying.
There is, however, been a slight oversight from Warlords.
Darren, I'll have a look for that. I'll have a look for that, mate.
Oh, that sounds amazing, Darren. But not until 2026. I just want to talk about the slight oversight from Warlord. So these new German sprues have some really nice molded wall pieces. Really, really nice.
Taros, that is not helpful.
Wall pieces. However, let me find Matey with the machine gun. They're too tall. They're too tall for the bases when he's in a crouched position.
Oh crap! What, your wall pieces? You can't actually.
Yeah, I can't bipod him and put it on it.
Well, if he's using the bipod, he wouldn't use the bipod on the wall. He'd just rest it on the wall, wouldn't he? The bipod is for when he hasn't got a wall to rest on. Surely.
No, you can use a bipod on a wall.
Why would you though? A wall's fairly stable, isn't it?
But does that wall look stable?
Well, I mean, it's been holding shit up. Presumably. That's pretty fucking stable. Cheesy says you could use a bipod on the ground. And the ground's pretty stable. That's fairly good. But you know what? You're right,
Is the ground stable, though, when it's hurtling through space and time at however many thousands?
Yeah, the world is spinning pretty... Oh! What's this?
It's because you said Facebook, probably.
I'm trying to find something about this planet fall. It's not easy, guys. Right, mate. So are you done then? Germans it is. Do you know, funnily enough, I did actually think about starting to assemble some of that two-player starter for that I bought at Dicini.
Question.
Yeah.
MG42 or a Panzerbusch 41
Hello, Pandy.
For this Pioneer wagon.
Sorry, mate. What?
Panzerbusch 41 anti-tank gun or a MG42?
The anti-tank gun. What are the stats on it? What penetration's it got?
I don't know. I need to go have a look at Easy Army. Off I go to the internet. Because for those in the know, Easy Army's now updated to 3rd edition, boys and girls.
Even, I mean,
Bolt action. Come on.
I mean, I'll be honest. I would just put a bloody machine gun on it, and I would just put a machine gun on it and use it as a transport. I wouldn't even bother with the points for the fucking cannon. That's a good. You know, that's a fair point. Toro says just which looks better. That's probably not a bad shout. The MG42 sucks, says Pandy. So obviously it doesn't have enough shootiness for Pandy.
I do appear to have made a slight oversight.
What?
The 16th SS Training and Replacement Battalion that was in theatre at Market Garden didn't have SDKs, they just had trucks.
Okay,
Oh,
so
well.
it's not on your theatre selector.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Dutch SS. Now, Dutch SS. Let's have a look at you, shall we?
Are they another Market Garden list? Somebody who might have SDKs.
Yes, they are. I would just give me a new list, you bastard.
Toro says it's certainly MG42 certainly does suck. You can't use the bipod on the walls. Fucking hell! I tell you what, it's rapid. It's quite shocking how very rapidly in joke and meta this fucking place becomes after only a few minutes. Oh dear. Okay. I see Darren. You see, look at that. Darren's actually trying to be useful. He's sort of saying, "Go to the 555 Parsecs Facebook."
The Dutch SS Battalion didn't have any fucking either. Fuck's sake, boys and girls.
So the
What
next
is
time
going
you're
on?
about to make an impulse purchase, we'll say, "Stop, David."
Panzer Company Armoured Platoon. If you don't have them, I'm going to scream. Oh no, you just have a Flammenpanzer, command vehicles, more Flammenpanzers. Fucking okay, so the Panzer Company 224 Armoured Platoon that was in Operation Market Garden just has all of the fire vehicles, all Flammenpanzers. That's fucking mental. Yeah. Fuck it. We're just gonna stick the
Feck. Right, well, I can't find any good. I'm not going to.
Darren has just sent you something on Discord.
Okay, right. Okay. Let me do that. Let me look at that. Because I am not logging into fucking Facebook and joining the group and going through all of that fucking rigmarole. I am not doing that. But, okay, let's see if he sent me a link on Discord. He has.
Toros, just buy some trucks. No, I'll 3D print them.
Ooh. Right, okay, that's great. Well done. Now then, I just need to go and make sure that I've got a way to share that with the viewers, which means I just do that. I think. Oh, look at that. That works perfectly. Right, well, now I've finished faffing.
So other than you working the internet...
Oh, Damon, hello, sir. Half-tracks are always in short supply, issued to Panzer and Panzer Grenadier divisions. So did you... Oh, sorry, I was zoned out there. Did you find a list? Did you find a Market Garden list that you could use them in or not?
No. But I swear, in one of the Market Garden books, it just says to get a shit ton of SDKs. Bear with me, I'm going to find it. 'cause it's
You
only
go
just-
and get your actual book, then you'll be able to look. Right, okay, well, while he's stressing about that, let's see if we can... So, what am I going to be doing today? What am I going to be doing tonight?
Campaign book's a little dog-eared, but here we go.
I think we'd better finish working on our what do you call them?
Ranger first.
Ranger fur. Jesus Christ, I'm getting old. Yeah, so we're going to finish working on this Ranger fur. Where there's, I don't know what I'm going to do with the pouches. Actually, this one's got more pouches than the last guy, so I might have to add another a colour.
Black leather. Problem solved.
Yeah, black is probably a good shout because I've already got a lot of very wild wood colours on here. He's going to end up looking like fucking Robin Hood, King of Thieves, if I don't calm it down. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. Just a little simple, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking here at scenario 9. It's an uncommonly large project for a bolt action game. Few of us will have the 50 German armoured cars, half-tracks, trucks for the recon unit, not to mention dozens of British jeeps. So yes, I can take a half-track. I know I'd seen it somewhere.
Okay, so okay, there you go. So that's just in scenario 9.
Yeah.
All right, okay. And what do we need? 50?
Yeah.
And that's 50 of both sides, or just 50 German?
50 German vehicles.
That is mental, mate.
I know.
That's mental. Oh dear, fucking Darren says, I thought they would have twice as many half tracks as full tracks. Fucking brilliant.
Cheers, mate. I'll go have a look in a minute.
Yeah, has anybody actually collected miniatures on bicycles for bolt action?
Oh, there is some news. Have you seen the new British rules that are being released?
No.
I can get paratroopers to have Welland bikes for a point each.
A lot of
fuckers taking them.
a lot of the armies can run bicycles. The Japs can run them because they use bicycles in Malaya.
Well, no, they don't run them, Paul, because then they're not really a very good bicycle.
Oh, God.
They ride them.
Cheeseme's found it, apparently. 10th SS Aufklärungs Battalion. Apologies for
I'll
the
have a look in a
pronunciation,
second.
Tim, if you're watching later.
Yeah, but I don't need a mini on a bike. I need a fucking squad on a bike.
To be fair, mate, if you just search, miniatures on bicycles, a lot of the smaller studios who produce like metal World War II stuff, they do. Like I can find loads of them do like Japanese on bicycles. Because I've already searched for my army lists for Malaya.
I'm going with the anti-tank gun, boys and girls, because it just looks badass. I'm told.
Pandy's being very literal, I think, controlling you there. A whole squad wouldn't be just on one bike.
Pandy, I will break your shins.
Oh, that was very good. I do like that.
Pandy, forewarning. Seeing as it's T-minus 2 weeks to Expo, and I don't know how busy and full your house is. Magic, the Gathering, Commander Deck, bring it, boy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Then you can see the bullshit shenanigans that me and Paul
Darren
get
says,
up to.
I'm now thinking of a super long tandem. Hey, David, could you 3D print that? A 10-seater tandem.
Fucking turning circles longer than a fucking bus.
That's fucking brilliant. I like that. I like that a lot. That's great.
I completely overlooked the 10th SS, sir. Thank you. I now have them.
You've got it.
Yeah.
There you go. So now that's what you can build.
Fucking hell, you can only put 5 men in an SDK. Are you kidding me?
That seems not a lot. Which SDK is it?
250, 251.
Is it what gun have you put on it?
Well, I can only take full market garden. Can only take the MMG.
Okay. The MMG shouldn't take up a shit ton of space. I mean, if it had got an anti-tank gun or an anti-air gun on it, I could understand that restricting your occupancy. That does seem very, very low.
I mean, it's fitting for this particular vehicle because this is an engineer's SDK, not a proper SDK.
Because yours is half full of jerry cans and stuff, isn't it?
Mine's half full of jerry cans and bridge bits on the side.
That's not correct generally, though, guys, is it? The occupancy on a fucking SDK is not normally that low. I swear I've put entire squads of 12 Germans in it.
But a 251's not small. See, the printout card I've got here says it will take 12 men. Maybe they're just full of dead bodies in the Market Garden campaign. Oh, wait a minute. No, because the British didn't do that well.
Oh my god, Taros. That is such a fucking dad joke, mate. In fact, I don't think anybody under the age of about 45 will even get that joke. Do you see it? So, mate, do you get this? Germans would not be allowed on extra long tandem as they are the baddies, and only goodies use long tandem bikes.
No, I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm not old enough, clearly.
For anybody who's like below 45, the goodies were a Tim Brooke Taylor, Graham Garden, and Bill Oddie, 3 comedians that did a Monty Python-esque wacky TV show in the early 70s. I want to say late 70s, sometime in the 70s. I'm 90% sure on the BBC here in the UK. So that's just how fucking weird that joke was. It was a very good joke if you got it.
If you were of that Elton era.
Yeah. But it was a very good joke in the right audience, mate. Yeah, to be fair. I didn't like them as much as Python. Even teenage me or whenever I was watching them was like, yeah, this is funny-ish, I guess. You know, to be fair, when you sort of like barely out of fucking primary school yourself and you're looking at something thinking, yeah, this is a bit childish. Probably not good.
Right. Phone.
I must confess, you're having the same dilemma as me. It does piss me off with my British lists that the occupancy of a fucking Bren carrier is only 5 as well. It's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that?
Poke it with a sharp stick. Anyway, it's 26 minutes past the hour. We haven't even spoken about what we got up to at club this week.
Well, no, I thought I'd keep our powder dry as we're padding time. Right, hang on a minute. Let me finish doing this shoulder pad.
Well, we could just tell them really slowly.
Oh, that was great. Oh my god, I can't believe that was so well done, mate. That was really well delivered. That was a gag that was fucking expert timing, because it took me a while to realise what you were doing. I thought, oh, what's he doing? Is he concentrating on a particularly small bit he's gluing? No, I see exactly what he's doing. Oh dear. I know, I get that, Cheeseby. I mean, when you look at a Bren carrier, occupancy of 5 is about right. I mean, to be fair, then you've probably got somebody riding on the back. But SDKs are fucking massive. Surely they shouldn't have. They should have more than 5 people in them. Where were we? Content display, club night, bish bash booshed bosh. So there we go. This is what we did at club. Yeah, very much of their time, Ewok.
Paul was thinking his OBS had died.
Yeah, so on Monday, I got to play Bolt Action with Rich. In fact, do you know what I'm going to do? I've just realised I think these pictures are weirdly cropped because that don't look right, mate. Just hang on.
You're just really focusing on that dead building in the middle of the table.
Edit transform.
Yeah, the 251's its bigger brother, but again, it's just in the listing as a 250, 251, and it can only carry 5 men. It's like, oh, okay. Okay.
Huh.
Right, anti-tank guns on.
Maybe not then.
Yeah, no. I am not. Bear with me.
Okay, apparently that is not being cropped, that picture. That is a fucking lie, OBS, because that looks cropped to fuck to me. Still, I'll believe you. Thousands wouldn't.
Does it count as an armoured car? No, it doesn't.
Oh, hang on. Okay, Damon might be onto this.
On Easy Army, it's listed as a 250/1 under that 10th Actalung blah blah blah. That you haven't fixed it, mate. It's still exactly the same as it fucking was.
What, the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was convinced it had got some sort of crop on it, but apparently OBS says no, that's what you photographed, and I'm like, yeah, I fucking didn't because I was there and I took the photograph. You be lying fucker. But there we go. It'll do. It represents. It tells you a story, damn it. It tells you a story.
Does it?
Shut up.
Yeah, it is the 250/1, but I just don't know how Easy Army is making its listing. But fuck it.
Hang on a minute. Let's fucking. So yeah, I played. Okay, right. I played Rich, and he played about 800 points worth of Germans with a bloody Panzer IV. And I took, because he's got an Eastern Front army list, and I played my Fall of Singapore British with about 600 points worth of them, because there's a load of models I still don't have. Yes, his Germans don't even have arms on them, let alone be painted.
Or heads.
But to be fair, he is like, I mean, Rich is not that doesn't have the most free time in the world. He's like a father of what, 4 kids? Is it 3 boys and a
4
girl?
or 5, I think.
He's got a lot of kids. He's got a very busy job. And I think he
Works
days
got and nights.
He got that. I don't know if he got it for Christmas or just after Christmas. So I mean, to be fair, he is working his way through it, bless him. But it's going to take a while. Yeah, they were armless. So I ended up about 200 points down. We rolled for random scenario in the old 3rd edition rulebook. We got just a kill points take them out sort of scenario. And it was okay. I lost. I lost. I think I lost 5-3 in the end. We played sort of to the end of turn 5, I think, because we were pretty late starting the game. Because we were talking about list building, and then I was also helping because David was playing a game and borrowing some of my models, so I was helping with that initially to set them up. But yeah, as I say, I really enjoyed it. Rich really enjoyed it. It's about his 3rd game of bolt action now, I think. I was happy with the way my doughty little British Tommies performed. And I tell you what, I said this at the end of the game against Rich. He had a Panzer IV. I had infantry and a pissy little Bren carrier. At no point I put anti-tank grenades on all of my guys just to sort of even things up a bit, push up my points so that I would have a chance to kill the Panzer if I could get into combat with it. Because obviously other than that, I've got literally no anti-tank options. So I did do that to at least give myself a whisper of a chance. But even though I was effectively playing the game on hard mode, I didn't feel crushed and like I didn't feel defeated by it. I felt, I knew it was going to be difficult, but I felt that I as long as I was lucky, I could do something. It's like I was in a position where I had a nearly full unit. As long as the order dice came out in the right order, because it was towards the end of, I think, turn 3, and as long as I got my order dice out early to charge the Panzer with that unit before he could do anything to put more pins on me, knock me down, etc.
Are you Chumbawambering?
I thought, well, as long as the plan comes together, and as it happens, because of the tank fear rule where you take -3 on your order test to charge a tank, regardless of whether you got any pins or not, I actually only failed that test by 1. So, do you know what I mean? It was like, I always felt, oh, but at least I've got a chance. And do you know what? Versus, like, I've played other games. I mean, again, I played a game of 40k where my Necrons played against Custodes. And that game was soul destroying because you just need, for anybody who knows, Custodes are ridiculous infantry models. You literally need anti-tank weapons to kill them. That game was awful. It was an absolutely awful game. No, nothing on my opponent, but the rule set and the stupid way that you can literally build yourself into a position where you can't win. You can list build to fail in 40k. And I tell you what, taking this ridiculously skewed matchup where you've got fucking Germans with a Panzer and then shitty early war Brits with literally no heavy fucking no heavy weapons, and I still enjoy it. I think that says a lot about the game. A lot about the game. To be fair, Toros, one of the issues was because we were only playing like a few hundred points. I think I had about 7 dice, and Rich had 7 or 8 dice, and he only had more dice because he'd got a couple more, because he built his list to 3rd edition, whereas mine's built out of a theatre selector from 2nd, so I don't have a lot of the office attacks. But again, the other thing again is that this is the other thing that I've found that I've noticed playing bolt action over the last few months. Obviously, we don't play in a meta where people bring a lot of tournament lists and stupid stuff that's very effective in game but utterly unrealistic and daft in real life. We don't play like a lot of tanks effects and the really ridiculous, powerful stuff. But playing second edition legal lists versus third edition legal lists and literally just not worrying about it it's just not been a thing. Do you know what I mean? I've won just as many games as I've lost, and it's like it is what it is. It doesn't seem to make a fucking blind bit of difference. The in terms of transitioning editions, this transition from bolt action second to bolt action third has been one of the most painless and enjoyable I've ever made in my wargaming history. I don't know, for those of you guys, I'd be interested to see what you guys I'll let her know, Trevor. I don't know if you guys who've played second and third feel the same, but do you know what I mean? It's just, I've really found it dead easy. It's not. Yeah, and what I was saying, Toros, if I'd have had more infantry units that I could have just spared, like I say, even if you've got, multiple units just putting shots on it so that it's got 5 or 6 pin markers, yeah, I could have done that. It does it, Ewok, more freedom? Well, as in you can take more of it, you just have to build dedicated platoons for it. Like, you have to have an armoured platoon with a command sectional vehicle. Whereas I suppose in the old lists you could have like one piece of armour. Well, now you can build an armoured platoon. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. I guess you can bring more armor, and I guess that'll be better for larger games. But you see, again, the thing is like
you can't get those larger games in club time.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, the other thing is like I was thinking about that, and is like a lot of the games that we're probably going to play in the future will be from the campaign supplements because we're not really into the rulebook based scenarios. And in there, it's like, no, you've got like 3, M3 Shermans and fucking, all these landing craft and bloody what do you call them? The duck things. My old brain.
DUKWs.
Yeah, what's the word? Amphibious vehicles. That was the word I was looking for. And it's like platoon. None of the platoon sector shit matters. It's just like you just take loads of these. So obviously, I guess that's all a bit something that we won't really notice. Yeah, I agree, Cheese Me. Ultimately, I think if you're bringing I don't know. I don't want to be judgmental, but I mean, if you want to bring that attitude to a game like Bolt Action, do you know what? You do you. I hope you enjoy it, but that's not really my thing. Do you want to tell them a little bit about your game, mate? Because we've actually got a photo of it for the first time.
I played some Hobgoblin, boys and girls. So this was an introductory game for Luke. Luke's first game foraying into the rank and flank miniatures. With this particular game, we played it as a mirror match. So 2 squads of light infantry, squad of heavy cavalry, squad of ranged cavalry, and an artillery piece, and then a squad of heavy infantry as well. Quite a good game. We only got to the end of turn 2, and the reason we only got to the end of turn 2 is we both played super aggressively. For a rank and flank, it's only got 8 inches off centre line for your deployment, and your opponent's 8 inches off the centre line. So the 16 inches, we rolled the movement boost in this scenario. I pushed forward, Luke pushed forward. We ended up in combat at the end of turn 1. Basically, the entire line from foreground to background in this picture all blew up. My artillery piece got shot to death in turn 1. Luke's got shot to death in turn 2. Luke luckily had a squad of archers left and the heavy cavalry. I just had the squad of little mountain guys that could in the foreground of this picture. The aim of the game was to hold the 2 objectives, score points. Luke luckily scored a point turn 1. So he was up and I was just going to get murder hoboed. So at the end of turn 2, after about 2 hours of playing and chatting shit and reading rules and everything, because this was our first game, we just called it.
And it wasn't far off the full Monty, was it, in terms of game size?
2,600 points. Recommended game size is anywhere between 3 and 5k. So really nice game, really quick game. I can see me racking this all the way up to like probably 7.5, 8k.
Yeah.
Big battle games and still getting them done in club time. Stuff that would be unheard of.
Yeah, to be fair though, you have got them.
Company.
You have then got to paint and collect all of that stuff.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm not. What was I going to say? I'm not sure about the lack of. I call it the Mexican standoff phase. In a lot of these rank and flank games, finding your spacing and distance and then launching your attack at just the right time, whether that's on turn 2, turn 3, sometimes turn 4, really late game charges. I sort of like that. I like that aspect of the interaction in rank and flank games that I've played, good rank and flank systems, and like you say, Hobgoblin seems a little bit brutal, where it's just like, let's get down to brass tacks, and I'm not sure if I like that, but I do agree with you that the possibility of bringing stupid amounts of models and yet still being able to get the game done is actually all that's appealing, isn't it? Because we all like that.
And the other thing being, you have some models sat at home, unloved on a shelf. Quick, boys and girls, what rules do you want to bolt onto them to make them play the way you want them to? That's what this game's all about.
Yeah. Yeah. Damon says, I tell you what. Okay, so they're talking about waste play bolt action. Ewok says, my favourite way is to bring all your toys, limit the number of dice so as not everything gets to go every turn. Oh, that's a good idea, Ewok. And then Damon says, we don't usually use points, just 6 units per player, usually 4 to 6 of us. No more than 1 tank per person if we have any, mostly we use infantry. Pre-measure ruins rank and flankers. Do you know what, Ewok? I don't know, is this an old man thing? As I get older, I'm liking not pre-measuring. I like bolt action because you can't pre-measure. I like sitting there going, I really need to charge those wankers, but I don't think I'm within 12, and I really can't be bothered. If I die, it's like so bad. And I preferred the old don't pre-measure with fantasy. I get the only thing that pre-measuring for me becomes super frustrating with is artillery. I don't mind guesstimating small distances, like is that 12 inches, 15 inches? Do you know what I mean? But when you've got to guesstimate a range, and it's like, how far is that? 48 inches? 42 inches? It's like that starts to get a bit fucking irritating. But generally I agree. He said, generally I agree.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with being on hard mode sometimes, Trevor. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, again, I don't get it.
Fucking hell, Ewok. That got dark quickly.
Trust fucking Ewok. What's he doing? Fucking hell. Oh my god. That's so fucking funny. Somebody was saying about Pandy says my favourite way is not to play bolt action. Pooper. Oh god. Yeah, I'm not even going to engage in this childishness. Oh dear. Abuse it to get a millimeter. Yeah, that's the problem, Cheese Me, isn't it? It's like, oh, because I can pre-measure, I'm going to stop a quarter of an inch short of this, and I'm going to make sure I'm a quarter of an inch. And it's like, yeah, you can do it, but it's gamey as fuck, isn't it? Pandy, quickly. I actually like bolt action. That's fine, mate. Don't worry. We know you joke. We know you joking. No, me joking. What was I going to say? I was going to say. Oh yeah. So I think it was Toros said somebody about playing bolt action with real life scenarios, or what did he say? Was it Toros? Yeah, Toros, has anyone played bolt action with real life scenarios? I don't know what. Do you mean like the campaign books, Toros? Because yes, we definitely have. And they are some of the best games of bolt action I've ever had. Using the campaign books that they released, Warlord released. But maybe that's because I just love the storytelling. Oh my god, nipple electrodes. It's all getting fucking grim. Okay, let's move quickly on. What's going on here? So
what's the difference between a Panzer 4H and a fucking...
We've got
H
10
got
we've got
shirts
10
on.
minutes. Let's do some of the news that the guys were.
I don't know.
Where's the...
Yeah, I mean, Toros, the campaign book for Market Garden, has got basically a caveat saying if we played it as bolt action, as Market Garden actually happens, it wouldn't really be a fucking game because all of the British would be in fucking POW camps by game 3. Because it was just an absolute fucking nightmare. But I know your Marina Islands one?
Yeah, so the Marianas and Palau campaign book, Toros, that one has all of the missions in it are they are emulations of the real thing. So for example, one of them sticks in my mind. The Americans had to capture a beach in front of an airfield. So, and then like there was a rocky promontory to their left that was riddled with Japanese artillery and that sort of thing. So the whole scenario, it is laid out as it was pretty much for the Americans. Obviously, the scales are drastically reduced so that you're getting like a fucking, I don't know, a 2 mile combat front onto a 6 foot table. But apart from scaling, that's that they've still got the same. So like there's reefs and mines on the landing zone. There's the Japanese get to deploy artillery on the left. Then there's pillboxes placed on the perimeter of the airfield that they've got to get past to get into the airfield proper. And that whole book, each of the missions represents a reasonable representation. So like usually after the initial landing mission, there'll be a Japanese counterattack mission where they and that's obviously how all the landings went. Initial American landing, try and establish a beachhead. As soon as night falls, the Japanese would launch the counterattack. And again, they're all sort of tailored round, the scenarios are tailored round as it went for the actual campaign. Obviously, I'm sure some of the books are not that accurate, but the island one is. The Marianas and Palau one is. Sometimes the way you lose is just as much fun. I mean, again, that's the thing I found about playing those missions. You stop caring about whether you lose or you win, because it's actually just fun to play the game. I'll be brutally honest. Let's share. So we got the Victrix. Somebody mentioned Victrix World War II Germans. So let's put these up. We're going to skip the jingle because it's not really news. Pandy, what do you mean 17 days in Singapore? What's that? Is that a book about the Singapore? Because one of the things I want to get hold of some more Singapore stuff. I noticed that Two Fat Lardies wrote a series of missions on Singapore representing the sort of fall of Singapore Island, or the run up to the fall of the island. They're written for the Chain of Command system, and it's available online as a PDF. I did think about getting that and adapting them for Bolt Action. The Kanger references 17 Singapore for they had to be. Oh, okay. I see what you. Actually, that's a good point. Actually, if you come across, because obviously you, with your connections with the museum and that, if you can recommend any good books that really go into
detail,
a lot of detail about the engagements on the island itself, because obviously quite a lot of the campaign is the Malay Peninsula. I'm not so much interested in that. I'm basically interested from the point where the Japanese crossed the strait, where they blew the bridge was blown, wasn't it? The causeway was blown, and the Japanese launched the attack on that evening across the strait. Anything after that, I'd be really interested. Oh mate, that would be so cool if you could, and I'll see if I can get some of them, because that's what I want. I want some people, just like the book we were just talking about, because again, that obviously people have read books where it said, okay, and the layout of the land was this, and after the initial beach landing, those two we got separated, and there was a gap in the line, and the Japanese counterattacked into it, because all of those sort of like narrative details are fantastic gold for building scenarios with. So where are we? So yeah, these Germans look pretty fucking tasty, to be fair. And you guys probably know more than me. These Victrix, they look a bit less heroic than Warlord. I mean, there's still some exaggeration there, but the proportions are a bit more. And I tell you what, the heads and faces seem better sculpted, a bit less cartoony and odd looking. But yeah, they certainly look cool. Does it show us the sprue? No, it shows us the models. Yeah, they look great. 45 quid for a 44 figure set. So presumably these are all plastics, guys, are they? Or are these not plastics? Yeah, these are. Surely they are. Yeah, they look pretty fucking cool. Radio operators, medics, ammo carriers, support, snipers. They got loads of bits and pieces on there. Is there a picture of this? Ah, yeah. Okay, stop that. That's really annoying. Okay, so you have a heavy weapons sprue. You have a main frame. Who else hates that fucking hover shit? That's pretty cool.
What's up?
Oh, was that David's audio going? Fuck.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can now. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. This is what we were talking about. Right, David. Be schooled, sir. Can you see the internet?
Yeah,
Oh, your audio's going again. Give us an audio test, mate.
hello. Can you hear me now?
Just let me go in the settings of this fucker. Oh my god, this is doing my head in. Settings. Audio, scroll to the bottom. Video. Advanced. And now you right, that's
There we go.
turned
Is
up.
that better?
No, it's fine. I am going to go to. So yeah, can you see this is an SDK 250/1,
Yeah.
right? And this is an SDK 251.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. your
But they have
audio.
access to the 250/1s, not the 250s. 251s even.
Yeah, so the one you bought, is it a 251?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a 250/1. It's a 251. Okay. Yeah. Night, Darren. Yeah.
Oh well.
Fuck. Yes. Right, okay, so apparently that is the issue. Hardware emulation hasn't fixed it. Although it did when I tested it on myself. So...
Fuck you, Ewok.
That's rude. And then last of all, we've got... can we do this? So this is what Darren helpfully took as a screenshot of this. I'm going to have to go to it. If David's voice breaks, it fucking breaks. So let's dig into Planetfall a bit more. So this is the spin-off game from 5 Parsecs from Home. Not Legend of the Five Rings. That's a different thing altogether. In the forthcoming big standalone release in the 5 Parsecs series, your crew is now troubleshooters of a new colony with you as commander. Conduct R&D, build new facilities, explore the planet, and learn how to fight dangerous aliens. So this looks like they're adding sort of like a base building mechanic to the core game. Is that? Instead of returning to town, you return to the colony. So if you don't build it, it won't be there. Okay, you'll have security details, scientists, explorer vehicles, and more to support your team. Will you take your well-travelled 5 Parsecs crew or start with a fresh crew? Supplies and replacements are limited, so be careful about losses. And those new aliens are not just encountered in the field, but may actually attack your colony, so be prepared. Okay. That sounds fucking cool. What say you, mate?
I need to get my finger from up my ass and do some 5 parsecs.
Get it actually sorted.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. The news provided by the chat. Oh, what the hell are they on about now? That's why you have a ball gag draw. Fucking hell, mate.
Paul, have you ever built a Panzer IV?
Only at Flames of War scale. Why?
Because fucking Warlord, Jesus, they make it difficult.
Have you got instructions or are you just winging it?
I've got instructions, but they've turned to me and said, do not glue part 20 to part 50, which is the bit that holds the turret on. And then you put that entire piece onto the top of the tank. Come down to my desk, Cam, and I'll show you what I mean.
So that's presumably so that you don't glue the turret in place, because what sort of a noob would do that?
I know, right? Just amateur hour.
Right, okay, go on then.
So do not glue this bit to this bit.
Yes, okay, that makes perfect sense.
But glue it to this. Okay? Kind of makes sense. Because Warlord, you've not given me much to work with here from a gluing point of view.
Oh, I see your point.
And then all that goes in here.
Hang on a minute. Turn the whole thing upside down. Right? Okay. Now, no, don't put that back in there. Take the turret out of the base plate. Okay, right. Well, that's easy. Hang on a minute. That's easy. Right. Put it back in. Presumably you're using plastic cement.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So take the plug out. Part 50 or whatever it is. If you apply plastic cement only to the inside of that ring on the top part, don't go fucking heavy weapons, flamethrower on. Just be careful, apply it just in there, and then push the plug in. The plug will glue to that internal section, and as long as you don't let any glue bleed between, it should not glue to the outer ring. Should it?
Famous last words. Think I've got it to work.
There you go. And what I would do is, the chat's like, yes, and then gently push the plug in. Okay, now that's brilliant. Yeah, and what I would do, mate, is literally just pick it up every 60 seconds or so and give it a spin. Because even if you get any bleed through, if it starts to set, all you got to do is keep breaking it before that plastic dries, and it won't. That's exactly it. Just, every few seconds, just make sure you haven't got any bleeding. There you go. That wasn't as hard as it looked, was it?
Also, Warlord, I'm on the warpath now, right? You have provided me a very beautiful sprue. You've even managed to engrave some numbers here in your website, so I know where it's from.
Yeah, okay.
Why am I having to look at a book to identify the parts?
Yeah, you mean You mean why aren't there numbers on the frame?
Yeah,
You know, maybe.
Why?
Just, because, maybe.
Just keep you on your toes. Just keep you on your toes.
Because what would that be a good idea, man? Yeah, could be a good idea. Yeah, smart.
Sick and tired of engineers pretending they know what they're doing.
Right, okay. Is that enough of your desktop? Are you finished? Any other
Yeah,
any other fucking random rants about the state of Warlord's fucking?
Also, Warlord, while we're at it, I know this sprue's several years old, but for fuck's sake, sort out your flash.
Cheese Me says it's an old sprue from when people knew how to build stuff.
I know how to build stuff. It's just that Airfix and Rebel had spoiled me.
They blame them then. It's not Warlord's fault. It's Airfix's fault, isn't it?
Apparently.
Right.
Well, where am I going to get a pack 38 from, sir, to extend this barrel?
What's that? So you've got like a better gun in your Panzer IV?
Yeah, than the fucking shitty little howitzer it comes with.
Well, can't you just
Actually,
print
let me
something?
check that that's legal first.
Just print something.
Tanks and self-propelled guns. What are my options? Panzer IIIs, Panzer IV-G and H, or H and J's. It's gonna have to be a Panzer IV-G, isn't it?
That's definitely the big gun one, I think.
Mm-hmm. That interestingly, even though it's 3rd edition, says that it has Tiger Fear.
What? Oh, what in the list you're looking at?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's because that's a theatre selector for bloody 2nd edition, isn't it?
True.
Because I bet you
True.
they haven't updated those files to pull stuff from the 3rd edition.
I know, it's the one that was included in the kit.
What's that?
You got the model with the limited options.
Yeah, because that was the one in your starter set, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
This wasn't I bought it and fucked up like my SDK 51.
like your STK. Yeah, which is sort of funny.
I'm getting high in here.
Right, should we talk about our main topic? Should we do main topic o'clock?
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
We are 10 minutes late, so we probably ought to.
Yeah, let's do it. So, 2-player starter sets. A load of old bollocks then, really.
Overrated, really, aren't they?
Yeah. So, thanks for coming. Close the door on your way out. Yeah, so...
This has been sort of brewing for
hello, Tim.
a while, hasn't it?
Do you know what?
Tim?
Do you know what? Tim has come at just the right time here. Yeah, go on, mate. Carry on. Because you made a comment that Tim will actually be able to contribute on, didn't you?
Yes, actually. So, starter armies for games, or 2-player starter sets in particular, they come in a variety of flavours, come in a variety of styles. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. We're going to do a bit of a deep dive.
Yeah.
and we're gonna stick our colours to the wall and say if they're actually worth it or not.
I think the first thing that I'd like to sort of ask is with a who the fuck is going to buy a 2-player starter set? Okay, and I'm gonna be on it. I'm gonna go right up front and say that I am pretty much I think there is a lot of 2-player starter sets out there that are not very good. For the reasons we'll talk about. Okay, so the first question is who is a 2-player starter set for? And I will be prepared to be roasted in the comments. I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm willing to say that I'm wrong. I'm just fucking opinionated and I'm an idiot.
Oh, don't get us started on Mantic and 2-player starters. We're going to rant about them in a bit.
I think, right, a 2-player starter set is for a new player. Okay, and that is, and by new player, I do not necessarily mean new to your game. I mean new to the hobby player.
Yeah.
Okay. And my defense of that argument is whenever David and I, for example, and let me talk just from my own experience, then I'm not putting words in other people's mouths and other things. When I talk about myself, if I am going to get into a new game with 30 years of wargaming experience, I will do my research on the game, probably play it at a con, get somebody to show me the game with their collection or whatever. And then I will buy what I need to buy to build an army or force to play that game. Okay? And that applies just as much to a small game like God Tier, where you buy 3 little boxes of 3 to 5 models each to build a team.
However, God Tier is a bad example, and the reason I'll tell you why it's a bad example is you need the 2-player starter set to actually have the boards to play
Okay,
on.
but that's, yeah, I'll push back on that, yeah. So that goes for a game like God Tier right up to a game like Infinity, where I'll literally like at my point, at this point, if when I'm going to buy a combined army faction. Now I might buy faction boxes and I might buy complete army packs or whatever, but I'm not going to be buying a 2-player starter set. Even if I'm brand new to the game, I'm not going to buy a 2-player starter set because I don't want 2 small forces that don't represent the full game experience for a game at this point in my gaming or hobby career. So even though I'm new to a game, I know enough about the hobby to go out and buy what I want, assuming, as David's just indicated, that the manufacturer allows me to do that and doesn't gatekeep certain essential play elements within a 2-player starter box that then locks the fucker away from me and stops me using it. Which is like, don't even get me started. So JJ, hello, good to see you, mate. I'm assuming you've been lurking. So that 2-player starter sets come in 2 flavors. 1, new players get them in through the door, which I think is exactly the kind of starter set that's got massive value. 2, a way of selling a bundle for cheap and then get the hooked to buy more stuff at a higher cost. That's where I think they're not so good at, but obviously that's just me. Toro says for starting a new period, I think they're good. Upworlder X-Wing works. I think, well, do you know what? That I would echo that. Upworlder. In fact, I was saying to David, we were talking last night about our our experience, the 2-player starter sets we've actually bought, and importantly, bought and then used the goddamn stuff. And I would say my X-Wing first edition starter set is the 2-player starter set, because the components were so essential to, like, just, they were so easy to use, just X-Wings and TIE Fighters. They were so easy to use. I got so much use out of the stuff in that box. Some dude on YouTube says it's a convenient way to jump in. Yeah, Damon's makes a good point about including rule books for both players instead of sharing one. Well, that's a thing, isn't it, Damon? That's not, you know, okay, that's got us caught up a bit on the chat. That is a very good point.
Yeah, you've got a two-player starter that you've only got one rule book in.
Yeah.
Andy.
Yeah.
So I come from sort of the school of thought where 2-player starters are nice, particularly if you and your friend are new to a game and you say, oh, well, we're going to split a 2-player starter, for example, and we'll get into it and we'll play some games of it and then we'll see how it goes and then go from there. The other thing that I've done with 2-player starters is use them as a starting point for collecting 2 factions, as Paul has said. So the best example I have of this is my Infinity Army. My Infinity Army is the Operation Kaldstrom starter, the Operation Kaldstrom expansion for my Yujing and Pan-Oceania Infinity armies, with some Robits bolted on as a little bulk pack. That's what I did for my 300 point of Yujing, and I enjoyed it. And my 300 points of Pano as well. I thought that was quite a good idea and quite a good way to get started without buying a load of stuff and not necessarily having a use for it. Flip side, getting into bolt action, getting into having some Germans and having some British, I've collected 2 just army boxes. Do you know what I mean? I've just collected 2 of the bulk boxes to build a force with.
Toro says Fire and Sword 2-player starter set had 2 rulebooks in it. Fucking hell, he's fair. I trust you to know one, Toros. Tim makes a point. I mean, Tim, this is exactly what you've just said. Tim says, some dude on YouTube says, I think Freebooters Fate does it best. You get a starter deal, but you choose the factions you want and you get all the items you need to play. So that's like a... Yeah. That's sort of, I suppose that's a customizable 2-player starter set. That's other thing is
the best way of doing this.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. I mean, this brings us to the Mantic thing. So, like, David was looking at the Mantic website last night, weren't you, mate? And I think
I would like to rant about Mantic, and this isn't often that I will rant about Mantic, right? If your 2-player starter set is being used as an introduction to the hobby, or you're splitting it with a friend, nice idea to include a rule book, nice idea to have, say, standardized packaging. But before I jump down Mantic's throat, we're going to just go over to GW, because GW have basically their core box release for Underworlds, which is their starter set, and it is labeled as such that it is a starter set. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, this has the boards.
In that starter set, you have in inverted commas, eternal. Nothing's eternal when it comes to GW, but that's getting by the by. You have an internal starter, and then you have the boards that you are required to play the game. They then also have Never Maze and related products, which are expansions technically, that also have boards in, also have the core rules in. So they kind of have 2 conflicting products competing for the space. But as Paul touched on earlier, if you wanted to get into Underworlds, The only way to do it is to buy one of those big box products. There is no way to do it without either duplicating on shit you've already got or duplicating shit you've already got or buying another starter set. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And I'll be honest, I will give Underworlds a pass because essentially I think it's a board game. And I wouldn't
Yes, it
even
is a
call
board
it a
game, but
miniatures game.
it does sort of epitomise what we were talking about though with God tier and other
Yeah,
stuff. We're
I
locking
mean,
stuff away.
but
Um,
even to take it to its most basic, right? So like if you do a 2-player starter set and you let's say for example that your game uses custom dice and a rule book, that you must make that rule book and those dice available to play outside of that 2-player starter.
yeah,
You
you can't
absolutely
just.
must do that. If you lock those things away, then I'm just
I mean,
fucking out.
give GW where credit's due. At least the rulebook is downloadable and free online.
Yeah, that is an option. Yeah, yeah, I'll give that a pass.
You can't,
Not
however, proxy the D6s
not that
easily.
I am a massive fan of digital only. I do prefer my books because I'm old. But you know, certainly with stuff like Games Workshop, where rulebooks are obsolete after about 24 months if you're lucky anyway. Yeah, downloading is probably the way to go rather than just buying a shit ton of stuff you've then got to flip on eBay after 5 minutes.
But we've already mentioned and touched on 2-player starter sets being split between, for example, me and Paul. You do have some issues with some companies that they only do one specific flavor of 2-player starter sets. So Carnivale, you own the Carnivale Escape from San Ciano
Yes,
starter set, and you
I
have
do.
played with it.
Sorry?
You have played with it as well.
I have. I've played through it twice. So like this again, let's come back to my treatise that the person the target audience for a 2-player starter set is the new player. So like one of the fantastic things about San Canciano from Carnivale, and also my other one that I have experience with that did the same thing, is the Infinity Red Veil one. Although I think the idea is common across all Infinity starter sets. What both those starter sets do is that they have a structured set of missions. I think it's 4 in Carnivale and 5 or 6 in the Infinity one. And each mission tells you exactly which models out of the starter set you're going to take. And it gives you a limited rule set and a limited objective or a specific objective in that mission. So it really takes you by the hand and leads you. Yeah, it leads you by the hand through every step of learning how to play a war game and all of those core concepts that we take for granted. And for me, I want all 2-player starter sets to do that. Because if they don't do that, if you're because here's another example, like Carnivale do also a big, so like San Canciano I think is 40 quid on TT Combat's website. They also do a 70 or 80 quid 2-player starter set that has more models, more terrain, more. I don't get it. I don't understand why there are 3 levels of starter for 40k. I don't understand why there's a basic one with like 10 miniatures, 10 marines or 5 marines and 10 nids. I don't understand why there's a bigger one with like 20 marines and 20 nids. And I don't understand why there's an ultimate one with 30 marines, 30 nids and some terrain. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
tell you why. Hear me out on this. I think some of it is price point and appealing to customers, particularly in GW's stance. I think it's appealing with kids only have a certain amount of budget to spend on a game. therefore we're going to cater to 2 or 3 budgets of kids saved up pocket money, or this is for Christmas. Do you know what I mean? I think that's where it's come from, GW, and I think that's what is now being reflected by TT Combat. What's more egregious is
so you're saying
Mantic
that TT Combat are sort of like eating Games Workshop's lunch?
Well, they're taking GW and copying. They're taking the homework and copying it.
Well, I don't. Yeah, but that's my point. I don't understand it. Right? Okay. If you want to, because again, tell me if my logic is absolutely flawed here, because it seems to me, right, if you know absolutely fuck all about this game, you don't have access to a gaming convention, so you've got very little way to try the game. You want to make the cost to buy into that game, to try that game, as low as fucking possible. So, like, 40 quid seems like really good in the current scheme of things. If somebody says to me there's a 2-player starter set to try this war game and it's 40 quid, I'll be like, I'll probably buy that and give it a try, because, you know, if it's shit,
I mean,
I can use the miniatures for something.
Look at Mutant Year Zero. This is the prime example here. We bought into that. It was a show deal that it was basically two-player starters, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
And it was two-player starters for 80 quid.
Yeah, they're about 40.
So
I think, correct us if we're wrong, guys. I think this was about 40 quid. The problem is when you're at a convention, you just spend money and you stop following what you're actually spending your money on. But I don't think this was hugely expensive. And I thought, if the game's shit, I can use the miniature for something else, because they're cool anthropomorphic animals. Fucking, do I want a warthog, a duck, and a rabbit? A duck and a rabbit? Yes, I do. Yes, please. We also played it. We did the demo game. Turns out it's actually a reasonably good game. But you know, it's like that to me makes sense. What doesn't make sense is having a 40 quid starter set and a 120 quid starter set that's just got more miniatures from multiple factions, because it's like we've mentioned several times before. What's the most common thing that happens with those big 2-player starter sets from GW? You split it with a friend. It's almost like a fucking meme. You know, Games Workshop stuff is so expensive at this point. It's like, I'm going to buy the 2-player starter set and then split it with a friend. Now, JJ mentioned about the value proposition, and I totally get that. It doesn't really matter whether you're bundling stuff at 40 quid, 80 quid, or 120 quid. The idea of any of those bundled products, it's a smart idea, particularly when it's like the entry-level recruitment product. Shave your margins as much as you can. Give up on as much, sort of like, you don't want to be worried about the revenue opportunity on that product. You want to be worrying about the revenue opportunity that product will generate later in your product life cycle. It seems to me.
Well, and again, we come to the GW meme, right, of splitting it. There's an argument to be had here, though, that whilst, yes, it is a meme, and yes, everybody's saying, oh, well, we're buying the new 2-player starter because I've already got this and buying it for value or to bulk out a force or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's the counterpoint of, if you were just fallen out of the gaming tree and you didn't have any clue what 40k was, well, God bless you, because you're soon going to find out anyway and regret it. But secondly...
Ooh, salt.
Secondly, if you're buying a 2-player starter, I have a particular taste in miniatures. Paul has a particular taste in miniatures. It's very rare that we get a 2-player starter where our streams actually cross and we both want to buy the 2-player starter.
Yeah, and
so this buy to split is kind of a fallacy.
Well, and I mean, again, it does require, it's like you say, it requires the stars to align, unless you're doing like Tim's example with Freebooter's Fate, where you literally pick what you want to start with, or you
Yeah,
do
but I
what
think you.
or you do what Mantic do, which is you have so many 2-player starter sets, you're going to be able to find one you want to split with a friend.
Yeah, well,
'Cause it's
we'll come to Mantic,
um
right? 4 2-player starter sets for Kings of War. I understand you want to introduce people to the hobby, but for new players, there is no clear defining difference of. They're all basically the same product with like a core rule book and 2 different factions. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
There is no delineating circumstance very well illustrated on the outside of the box. So if somebody walks into a store and has no idea, are they not going to be a little bit overwhelmed at the fact that there's 4 different fucking Mantic Kings of War starters, and which one do they actually need?
Do you know what? I again, I think you are right, mate. Because it's like the risk, the only risk, I guess, is that if you only have 1 2-player starter set for your game, that you run the risk that there will be a cohort of players that will walk past that product or pass it by because
it doesn't
there is,
entertain them.
well, no, because there is nothing that will give them that there is no miniature range in that box that excites them with its aesthetic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, oh, I've got a real hard on for fantasy vampires. So why would I want to play? Why would I want to buy a 2-player starter set that's ogres versus ratmen? You know, and I get that that could be a thing, but is it a big enough thing that it's worth having 6 2-player starter sets as separate SKUs? Really,
And
is
all of the
the
and all of the stock holding associated with that.
I mean, I'm just asking for a friend. Is that really the reason that there isn't accessibility in the hobby? Because people might be objecting about the aesthetic of a particular army and saying, "Oh, that doesn't really appeal to me." Toros has made a fucking cracking point here. The other thing about like the bigger, I get what Tim says. If you don't know the game but you like the look of them, like the look, and I guess he means of the model of the game, you might just start calculating which box has the most minis for your money, hence the big box buys. So again, it's all about drawing the extra cash out of somebody. It's like, oh, well, if you like the look of it, you could buy the 40 quid box, or you could buy the 120 quid box for twice the minis, and it's still great value. It's like, that's a trap, people. If you've never played a game, just buy the 40 quid, but the game might blow. It might suck so badly that you will never want to play it. So just resist the urge, buy that box, then later buy other stuff that's going to be a bit more focused. Trust me, I've been doing this a while. It's the best way of doing it. Toros makes a fantastic point. Sorry, mate. Let me just echo. Let me just make Toros's point. Toros says, isn't it a potential that if you're brand new to the hobby, you've got a starter box of, say, 12 models, or you've got a starter box of 50 models, which is going to be worse for you in terms of hobby overload and putting you off? And I think that's another fucking cracking point in favour of the small, focused, high value, well curated 2-player starter.
No, because Upworld has just wandered in here with a very good answer as to why that's a fucking terrible idea, but we'll come to that in a minute. I just want to pick Tim's brain. Isn't the Battletech starter it's basically got a load of mercenary mechs in so that you can bolt them onto different factions, or am I misremembering that, Tim? Because I thought that was a thing. I know obviously you've got Alpha Strike and normal Battletech, now, but I thought that they were relatively like universal. They weren't like one particular faction. I'm misremembering. Okay. That's me told then. Coming to Upworlder's point, the multi-award winning Moonstone. Fucking freight crash.
Do you know what, though? I'm going to push back.
You've played. No, hang on. You've played the 2-player starter.
I did.
Did the
And
2-player starter play anything like a normal points level game?
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't.
And I'll tell you, and again, I will. This defends my argument. The Moonstone 2-player starter set is a great product. The models have been chosen with care. It's put together really well. And the play experience it gives you, for me, wasn't fulfilled by the full game. When I started, when David and I went out, I played the 2-player starter set with David W from our club. Not this David, another one. And I really enjoyed it. I thought, this is fun. The card thing seemed cool. And I thought, I definitely want to explore this more. I bought more of it. Picked a faction, bought some miniature sets. David and I have played it. We don't... And even now, I'm looking back and I can't gel what I'm playing now with what I experienced at the time.
Yeah.
And for that reason alone, I'm amazed at how good a product that box is. Because it like managed to completely deceive me into investing in a game. And you know what? There's no shame in that, because that's obviously a great product.
Might leave a bad taste in your customer's mouth, but
but it doesn't matter by that point because you've got their money. Which was the job that the start set had to do: get their money, get them hooked. So yeah. That's my treatise.
I think we need more Freebooters Fate style ones.
Yeah,
where
that is a cool
you
idea.
can do a 2-player starter set, but you build what you want just for what you think looks cool. Because again, it gives you can just say to your friends, look, this is a game I'm thinking of getting. Would you go halves with me? If you go halves with me, what would you want? Have a gander, have a look, and then we'll go from there. It's a really good way of doing it. I'll tell you the other thing as well, right? And it's going to sound counterintuitive here, but there is no 2-player starter sets ever for a mini-agnostic wargame.
Mercenaries and Clan Invasion are different 8-mech starter flavors. Okay, cool. In Battletech, any Inner Sphere house used any Inner Sphere mech. Clans use clan mechs, or it used to be like that. Okay. Yeah, this is where we're not expert, Toros. Never. I've played Battletech once, and it was okay.
Oh, yeah.
Nah. Didn't really get it. No, Tim, you were exactly where I would be. In answer quickly to Upworlder's comment, knowing what I would now, would we have invested? No, I wouldn't have invested in Moonstone. I would have said, this game's fine, but it's not a game I want to play seriously, so no, I probably wouldn't have bothered. If more people started playing at the club, I might have bought the models just so that I could be there. If somebody said, do you fancy a game of this? I go, yeah, okay, whatever. Because I like to enable people to be able to enjoy their hobby.
Well, again, it's kind of what we've both done with Warcry, because
Yeah.
we both have 2-player starters for Warcry. Because Jack was big into it and Jack wanted to get games of it, but obviously Jack's no longer coming to club because of personal circumstance. But we're still entertained by it. We still have said about getting Warcry to the table at some point.
Again, though, there are multiple factors. So, like, with the at risk of looking like a hypocrite, I mean, I bought the bolt action island hopping. I can't remember what the fuck it's called, island battle or island fight starter set. The one that's half Japanese, half American Marines. The other day at Dicini. But I didn't buy it because it was a 2-player starter set. I bought it because the value proposition's pretty good at full price, and when it's at like nearly 40% off, the value proposition becomes a bit nuts, especially when I know for definite I'm going to use all of the models in another project. And if a 2-player starter set falls into that sort of like category for you, as in it's essentially a bundle pack of models and assets that you're gonna asset strip and use other elsewhere, then that seems fucking cool. However, should a 2-player starter set be designed for that reason? No, obviously fucking not. It's a mad way to design your product lines. You know, you should be designing it with a clearer vision of what you want it to do. But I mean, Tim's saying here about the Legion, Star Wars Legion is now doing army starters in the same way that Bolt Action does. Here's a box. There is and it even prints it on the side of the box lid. It used to. This will build you a 1,000-point list. Do it like this, and
If
you've
you
got
build it
1,000
this way,
points.
yeah.
So it's like, this is literally our game ready to go. If you want to tailor your experience, you can do, but if you don't want to do that, you can still just buy this box. You're done. And for me, that sort of value bundling is way more useful than just having a starter set that's good value.
Well, again, I just want to call out. It's a game we didn't get into because we had a look at it, but we had a look at Arc World at Partisan.
Yes.
And the miniature aesthetic is very particular, isn't it? It's sort of weird,
cartoony,
dark fantasy, which is okay. It's sort of a la multi-award winning Moonstone.
Reminds me a lot of the sort of weird sort of art style of EyeAmPhibian, who did our stuff, because he used to do his own sort of highly colourful fairy style, you know, fairy fantasy art.
So really cool idea, and they have two player starters. One was the first one that they did with the Kickstarter. The other one was one that they released to grow and develop because they were finding that people were a little bit turned off from what they did. Okay, fair enough. That's all fine. Do you know what I mean? You've done your market research. You're getting there, etc.
Sorry, why did they release a second starter, mate? What was
the second starter? Was that it was the Kickstarter one was the primary goal for the first one, and they had people turn around and say, well, actually, I don't like these factions, and it wasn't selling.
Oh, okay.
And they did the second one with other factions because it was better. But at the show, similarly, he did have a deal on that if you bought the core rules and you bought 2 of the little starter boxes, it was basically the same value as buying a 2-player starter.
Okay, so
it's just that we didn't get into it. Again, genius idea there that you've got 2 or 3 ways to skin that cat.
Yeah.
Where's that fucking bit of plastic gone that I need?
I mean,
there it is.
The main reason that Arc World didn't appeal to me is I didn't really see anything in the rules that excited me. It seemed a fairly generic D6 based system.
Yeah.
And I didn't really see any reason why I'd want to be playing it. And certainly, unlike, let's say, Burrows and Badgers, or although even Burrows and Badgers has got a very clever polyhedral dice based system that's got more depth to it than that. Do you know what I mean? Even if fucking Burrows and Badgers was a D6 based system, I would play it just for the miniatures, because that aesthetic absolutely
and again
is my thing.
The aesthetic on Arc World was what sort of drew me to it, and why I just wanted to give it like an honourable mention of another game system that, again, could have hit the target but didn't. And again, there was.
I'll tell you what, that is a great example though of it. It does go to underscore maybe that tutors us as ignorant twats on the internet who just offer our opinion without any kind of qualification. Maybe that actually defends Mantic's decision to have 5 different 2-player starter sets. Because literally that company ran into a problem where nobody was buying their 2-player starter set and potentially not enjoying their game because they didn't like the aesthetics of it.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe that's a thing. For Toros says, for ACW, American Civil War years ago, I bought a Union Army and a Rebel Army and a rulebook. Neither army pack gave me everything I needed to play the scenarios I wanted. Yeah. It's
like you and it's like
basically
you and your saga,
yeah. Sorry, mate. Go on.
It's like you and your saga.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, just if you're going to do, and again, I can totally see why you would do, maybe you do a bundle that doesn't build a full army. In the way that we talked about it last week, that the Infinity ones where you've got like a core pack and an expansion pack to build a 300-point list, because that, you know, that's the. But selling you a box of half an army isn't necessarily a bad thing, because if you're really experienced, maybe there are some core elements that you want, but when it comes to filling things out, you want a little bit of customization. Well, you've got a nice little, you know, you've got a little mid-ground, haven't you? You've got, well, I can buy this. I can buy this bundle pack and it'll save me 20 quid on these models, but then I'll buy the singles and buy the extra bits that I want. Do you know what I mean? That seems to me, I can totally get behind that. It seems to me a great idea. You know, I'm not. It's not to say that the only way you can market your game and be right about it is to do full army bundles where it's like, you buy this box and you're done and you can play this whole faction. It's like, yeah, okay. Wargaming isn't really like that. People will always want to customize their armies to some degree and customize their play experience. That's why we play war games and not board games. It's part of our hobby experience, isn't it, mate?
I mean, again, should we just talk about the elephant in the room? Malifaux. The fact that to play most games of Malifaux, you need 2 or 3 boxes if you're going to build out to a specific points value and total.
Yeah, I mean,
I know Malifaux is more a collector's game than a
yeah,
war game's the wrong word, but
Malifaux is it's a good one to talk about though, because like, so Malifaux here's another thing about 2-player starter sets, right? Malifaux hasn't had a 2-player starter set since 2nd edition. And I'm not aware that it's sort of like struggled or it's, you know, desperate to recover the glory days of 2nd edition. Do you know what I mean? I'm not aware that it's particularly suffering because of that. It is a game where essentially it does thrive on players can literally just build their faction out by buying boxes of, you know, they bundle models together in groups of 3 or 4. The downside is you will often buy a box and there might be something in the box that you're actually not going to want and not going to use. But there's an element of, okay, well, you'll always own that model. Maybe they'll tempt you into buying another faction. Do you know what I mean? There are sort of...
It's no different to like the Carnivale style of play.
No,
Similarly,
yeah,
you buy
Carnival
you
is.
buy your,
Yep.
you buy your bulk box again. At least Carnivale do sell singles if you go direct to TT.
Yeah, yeah, other than that, like you say, it's a very similar idea. Buy the box, and you might only want 2 or 3 miniatures out of a box, but you know you end up with more than you wanted. And to be fair, unless the products are ridiculously overpriced or exorbitantly expensive, then I think that can pass as not predatory marketing. Do you know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
you can let a company get away with a bit of that. You know, I don't mind being upsold. I don't mind being, you know, having my pound stretched to invest in things maybe I wouldn't have bought if I had the choice not to buy them. As long as I don't feel that I'm being manipulated or having the piss taken out of me.
Or forced to.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I can't remember. I bought the only example I can think of with Malifaux right now. There's the Katashiro models, which are one of the only. They're basically demons made out of paper, and I had to buy this weird box with another Ten Thunders character and a weird like demon portal gate thing that I'm probably not ever going to assemble and paint. But that's the you know, I've got a pretty big collection of Malifaux, and that's the only thing I've had to buy to get all of my demon models that I really didn't want. You know, and out of all the money I'm surprised, out of all of my Malifaux I've bought, I don't think that's too bad. Toros, Paul's live on air site and isn't lit. People which later might think this is a repeat. Oh no, people watching later might not think it's live. I'm gonna have to fix this. It's just sheer fucking idleness that I don't connect this USB cable
You know what you need?
permanently
You just need
to some sort of
USB
power.
extension.
I know
USB
that's.
extension.
Do you know what I mean? That literally all I need to do is either go and get my fucking USB battery or just plug the fucking thing in to the 4-way adapter that's down there using a block and a fucking extender. But you know what it's like, guys.
So yeah, two player starters. My 2 cents on this is proceed with caution. They aren't all what they appear on the surface. If you can get the value out of it, fucking good, go for it.
Yeah.
But in most circumstances, they're either not representative of a full game, they're too small to make a full game, they aren't necessarily in the flavour that you want or you and your partner want if you're splitting it.
This is
all of those little bits add up to proceed with fucking caution.
I asked David, in all honesty, were there any 2-player starter sets he didn't regret buying or that he felt that he got the genuine value out of? Now, because of the nature of the way I am, a lot of the 2-player starter sets I've got are Games Workshop products, like an AOS one and a 40k. I've got the 6th edition
Warcry.
40k one. I've got the Warcry one, but literally every single one of those, I bought it because it was an insane price reduction. So it was literally the value proposition was off the scale because they were reduced to clear, they were remaindered, they were second hand. I bought mostly I find any
Oh fuck! I've just realised something. We missed a fucking huge topic that we spoke about pre-show about talking about that we haven't spoken about.
We got 4 minutes.
Necromunda starter set. Dan gave it to me.
Oh yeah, Ash Wastes.
Ash Waste, because he wasn't going to get round to it. The fact that there's terrain included in it, chef's kiss, awesome. Warcry starter set. The fact that there's terrain included in it and you need it to actually play the game, really good.
Escape from Santiano comes with paper mat and paper terrain. Good from a point of view of this is your first foray into Carnivale and you probably haven't bought a shit ton of MDF yet. Have fun with it.
And it keeps the cost right down.
So again, if it's a true starter set and it's a true 2-player starter, there is probably going to be some paper elements in there and or some terrain or bits and pieces like that, depending upon the company. If you're seeing a 2-player starter set masquerading as a 2-player starter set without terrain, probably not a 2-player starter set, probably a GW fire sale deal or FOMO deal. Because good example is Drop Fleet. I have the Drop Fleet starter. I feel a little bad about it because I've only got it to the table a handful of times. I think about 4 in total. But the main reason being, the game is acceptable. We're coming to a Moonstone level here, but I can use the Drop Fleet miniatures for Billy and Sons, other war games, etc. And I don't feel overly bad about it because rather than in spending, say, 50 quid a faction for 2 factions, I only spent, I think it was about 35, 40 quid for the starter set that gave me the flavour of the game.
Exactly, yeah. And that's what I mean about it, mate. If you can buy a 2-player start set and then like say, yeah, I'm not gonna feel bad about not playing this again, then that's a great product in the sense that it doesn't scar you. Do you know what I mean? Because again, if you've got a company like Games Workshop where you buy 120 quid starter set and then don't get the value out of it, are you going to buy another one? I know I probably fucking wouldn't. But if I bought a 40 quid starter set, let's say for one of Mantic's little games, I don't know, so like that fucking
Armada. Do Armada.
Yeah, so like if I bought the Armada starter set and thought, this probably isn't a game for me, it wouldn't put me off buying a starter set for Firefight or whatever. I know the maths probably doesn't work there because they're probably different costs, but generally I think that's a fair thing to say of Mantic. That they have really well priced entry level products. You know, they have really good recruitment products. And
Didn't you have a Hail Caesar starter set at some point, or was it Gangs of Rome you had?
Gangs of Rome I've got. Again, not used, but I have got it. The Mantic 2-player sets were probably rebranded as Champions. Yeah, I know that's a thing. I haven't really been following it, Toros, but yeah, I don't the Champions thing. I don't really get what's going on with that. I haven't followed it as such. But again, you know.
Speaking of which, I'm going to Kickstarter because I want to find out when I'm getting my shit.
What do you mean getting your shit? What have you got coming from Kickstarter?
What have you got coming from Kickstarter, dude?
Hang on. Oh, yeah, of course, talking about Mantic. I'll be back in a minute, actually.
Where has he gone? Ran out. Sorry, boys and girls, you're just watching me scroll through my phone.
Oh
my God.
What?
I've just seen the Enforcer sprue that was in an update. I'm going to cry when I'm building that shit.
So, I had a delivery today. I had 2 deliveries, in fact.
You had an Acid House Kickstarter delivery.
So, after receiving the Acid House Kickstarter for the Infinity style terrain, which I thought was really good value, really great product, I backed the Kickstarter for the Epic, because obviously we've got Warpath coming. So I thought, I'm going to need some terrain, and here we go. Now, the only comment I've got so far, I haven't unpacked this yet, obviously, only got delivered today. The lamp is doing a great job, but this colour is actually quite washed out. So I do hope that the printing is a little bit more vivid on the stuff inside, and this white washing out of the picked colour is just an outer packaging thing, because that is as bluish white as it looks on the screen.
just the sleeve.
Which is a bit worrying. But from June 2023, we finally bring you Assassin's Creed Apocalypse.
Oh, the Cambodia one.
Yeah, so this is the Jungles
Fucking hell, that's been 2 years.
Yeah, June 23, this was a Kickstarter was launched. Well, no, funded in June 23, so I don't know when the fuck it was launched. It closed in June 23. So, but this has finally come. So I've now got some of the stuff that I didn't back from the original Assassin's Creed Kickstarter. So I now have the Tokyo game expansion and the Creed versus Crows expansion for the core game. And I also now have the Apocalypse expansion with the Naga miniature, which was an add-on, which is a huge resin bad guy thing. So yeah, looking forward to unpacking this and having a go. When we get through the original campaign, that'll give us more to do.
Which one? All of them? Or...
Yeah. After we've done the original campaign, the Rome campaign, the Tokyo campaign.
Creed versus Crow campaign.
Okay. Right, guys. We need to call it. Taros says Warpath is still late. No, but on a podcast they mentioned June, July. Not sure if that's retail releases.
Yeah,
late May. Late May.
Why the fuck haven't they updated it? Because on their webpage they say it's delivering in May, and that was an update from February. Mantic are usually shit hot on customer relations.
I'm sure, it'll be along. Right. Okay, guys, let's call it. Sorry, I apologise for still not fixing this fucking overarching, troublesome audio issue, which causes David's audio to die every time I back out and go to a different fucking web browser within Windows. I need to try and work out what's going on. If you're a fucking tech genius and you know what the answer is, please fucking put the answer in the comments below this video or any of our other videos, because Jesus Christ, it's driving me nuts. Thank you very much to our co-stars over here in the chat. Without them, the show wouldn't be anything really, and we are eternally grateful to them. If you can only find time to do one thing, please click the old like button while you're here. We don't ask for much, but that really helps to push us in the algorithm. If you want to do the share, comment, subscribe stuff, then that's super cool as well. Do whatever is of value to you in your YouTube experience. And with that, I reckon we're pretty much ready to go, and see you next week.
T-2 weeks to Expo, boys and girls.
Oh, Partisan this weekend as well. So next week's show, guys, we will be talking about what we saw at Partisan at Newark this Sunday. See you later.
Bye, guys.
It's another Thursday night. I see Crispin's wearing tights. Spanish getting in the bath. Young David's full of wrath. Paul is tightening his straps. Where on his apron you saps. Technical difficulties. They're really such a crime. Technical difficulties. They happen all the time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop. is on day release. Time still tries not to crease. And Ewoks keeping nice and warm in bed with Russian uniform. Meanwhile, the handyman is opening up the can. Technical difficulties, they're really such a crime. Technical difficulties, they happen all the time. It's Yellow Belly Tabletop 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 time. Cheese is on day release. Damn stuff tries not to crease. But Ewoks keeping nice and warm in bed with Russian uniform. Meanwhile, the handyman is opening another can. It's Yellow Belly Tabletop time. 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 Cheese is on day release. Damn me up tries not to crease. And Ewoks keeping nice and warm in bed with Russian uniform. Meanwhile, the handyman is opening another can.
Right, try that again, because you just...
Can you hear me now, dipshit?
I can, but I know... I know why I couldn't hear you, because... Just let me do something. Yeah, no, I can still hear you now. Carry on talking.
I noticed something
Yeah.
I noticed something in the lyrics at the end.
Yeah.